Executive Assistant Chief Roman Clark, and I'd like to take this opportunity this afternoon to thank each and every one of you for joining us here as the Baltimore City Fire Department is increasing our diversity and inclusion efforts. Joining me today, I have with us the Honorable Mayor Brandon Scott, Council President Nick Mosby, Fire Chief Mr. Niles R. Ford. At this time, I would like to bring up to the podium our Mayor of Baltimore City, Mr. Brandon Scott, for some remarks.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. As City Councilman in 2018, I introduced and passed Baltimore's Equity Assessment Program, a legislation that is pushing every city agency to operate through an equity lens and assess internal policies and external policies that reinforce disparities in race, gender, and sexual orientation. And now that I'm mayor, a commitment to equity and inclusion continues to shape everything that my administration does. We can only be a better Baltimore if we're one Baltimore. So, we all must work together to build a more equitable Baltimore that empowers every resident and every employee and give every opportunity to contribute in the progress of this great city. This is especially true for the members of our LGBTQ community who have historically been ignored, overlooked, and discriminated against simply for living their truth. Today, I stand proudly alongside Chief Ford, the Council President, and the women and men of the Fire Department to announce the appointment of their first LGBTQ liaison. This is a positive and important step for our... There we go. The wind blew the power off. This is a positive and important step for our entire community. Did it again. All right, the battery's low. So, you guys can still hear me, for our entire community. Our LGBTQ neighbors deserve to have representation and see themselves reflected in city agencies. It is my honor as the Mayor of Baltimore to introduce you to Kyle Lavelle, a 5-year veteran of the Baltimore City Fire Department and the new LGBTQ liaison for the department. I look forward to Lavelle's continued leadership in our community and the work to advance inclusion with the City Fire Department and boost LGBTQ involvement with the Fire Department. Kyle, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to try you again. All right, it just keeps going out.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mayor Scott, for your leadership, and thank you, Chief Ford, for your leadership and courage to drive equity and diversity efforts within the department. I am so honored to serve as the LGBTQ liaison, where we can continue creating a diverse and inclusive fire department. As a paramedic with BCFD, I love my job. I love serving this community, and I love helping people. And as an LGBTQ member with BCFD, I'm even more proud to be a member of this fire department, because now we have the avenue to improve communication efforts, improve our interactions, and improve our working relationships with LGBTQ members and with those in our community. As the LGBTQ liaison, it's not all about me. This role encompasses all LGBTQ members. Within the department, we are creating a judgment-free space to strengthening working partnerships to develop mutual trust, respect, and understanding between the LGBTQ community and BCFD, while addressing disparities affecting LGBTQ people both inside and outside the department. This role will be a huge undertaking. However, I accept the challenge to serve as an advocate for my community. Again, thank you, Chief Ford, for entrusting me to serve in this capacity and remaining committed to creating a diverse fire department, where the only thing that matters is if we can do our job and carry on the legacy of BCFD, which is pride, protecting people. Thank you, Chief Ford.
See if I can help you all out just a little bit. So, I hope that's a little better. Okay. Thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Mayor Scott, for your commitment to the Baltimore City. Selecting Kyle as LGBTQ liaison is a step in the right direction, strengthening our relationships within the LGBTQ community. I've said several times that everyone has a place in Baltimore City Fire Department, and I mean everyone has a place, regardless of someone's race, gender, identity, religion, or their sexual orientation. Everyone has a place within BCFD. As fire chief, I aim to meet the diverse needs of everyone in the department and within our community that we serve. Furthermore, our commitment to the LGBT community as well. We've partnered with BPD for each of our stations to serve as a safe place to provide a temporary safe haven for LGBTQ residents and visitors who feel that they are threatened or they are being harassed or in danger. After which, a fire department member will connect the individual to BPD for additional resources. As the LGBTQ liaison, Kyle will serve as a voice for the LGBTQ members, while promoting inclusiveness, forging new connections with the community, spearheading internal training opportunities, and implementing ways to increase participation among the LGBTQ related events. Diversity and inclusion is not only a priority for Mayor Scott, it is and has been a key priority of mine to create a more inclusive and diverse fire department. And naming Kyle as LGBTQ liaison underscores that commitment and those efforts and our awareness for those needs for everyone. At this time, I'd like to present to everyone the council president.
Thank you, Chief Niles Ford. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is key and critical to all that we do. It's critical as it relates to how we govern our family and how we raise our young ones. It's key to our interactions with our neighbors in our communities. But it's most importantly key at the workplace, particularly the workplace that deals with public service and that deals with the citizens of Baltimore every single day. I am proud to stand at the beginning of Pride Month and know that we have a Baltimore City Fire Department that takes diversity, equity, and inclusion seriously. And that's exactly what today is about. It's about thanking Kyle for not only what he's been to the Baltimore City Fire Department, but thanking him for what he'll continue to do through the leadership of Chief Niles Ford and the support of our Mayor, Brandon Scott. So again, when we see people, when we work with people, when we interact with people, that's what this is about. Every single one of us are different. Every single one of us should have access. Every single one of us should be part of the conversation. And that's what the Baltimore City Fire Department has decided to do today at the beginning of Pride Month. So again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief Niles Ford.
And now we'll hear from Sergeant Bailey from the Baltimore City Police Department.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Thank you, Chief Ford and our fire department family for inviting me here to speak today. This announcement is monumental to as our city becomes more diverse, more inclusive, and an equitable representation of our communities. The mission of the Safe Place program has always been to enhance relationships between the Baltimore Police Department and the LGBTQIA+ community. And our local businesses and in providing a symbol of safety for victims of LGBTQIA related crimes and warns those who may commit those crimes. This program was launched in June of 2018. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. As we continue to increase our partnerships with the agencies, local businesses, and building facilities. Since then, we've had over 100 businesses to receive the Safe Place insignias and join the program. Last week, the department released its strategic framework for advancing equity, which is geared towards inclusive engagement, and advancing equity in our department and the communities we serve. This announcement today shows the growth within our city agencies and focusing on a community that sometimes feels overlooked and unheard. This adding 45 new safe place locations across the city at our fire station and other buildings builds on the ongoing support for our agency in providing safer and secure places for victims of harassment and other related LGBTQIA crimes. As the LGBTQIA plus liaison at the Baltimore Police Department, our department will work together with the fire department to promote partnerships and an effort between our agencies and the LGBTQIA plus communities so that way we can be a resource for all our communities. Thank you.
So again, I'd like to thank Sergeant Bailey and the police department for their assistance and direction for all practical purposes for some of the things that we've been putting in place. At this time, I'd like to open up for any questions. Yes, ma'am.
So for the last year, we've been working behind the scenes on starting initiatives for the fire department. Slowly, we first figured out the framework of what are some of the most important things that we can get done most efficiently. We started by creating all gender restrooms in our firehouses that are public facing. We did LGBTQ awareness training for all members of the fire department, including our command staff. We started with putting our proper pronoun use in our email signatures. And then what we're going to be doing in the future is creating more training that will help us as firefighters, EMTs, and paramedics to learn more about the health disparities that affect people in the LGBTQ community, and we're going to continue to work with our key stakeholders in the community. So I've been meeting every Thursday with key stakeholders in the community of different LGBTQ organizations. We meet every Thursday, and it's we hear about what problems people may have with the fire department or what they would like to see for us to do. I'm going to start engaging more in the community at community events and using my resources that I have and relationships I created to help build that for externally and internally.
Okay, and my last question is for people that live in the LGBTQ community, if they are having a problem, they need safe haven, then they can go to any fire station?
That is correct. So every fireplace is a safe place. So it's really what we've already been doing. It's just we're now promoting it. Anyone can come to any firehouse and request help or resources, and we would initiate that. But this is letting people know that if you are part of the LGBTQ community, if you've been involved in a hate crime, and or if you don't, if something happened to you, you know that you can go there and you will be in a safe, judgment-free place that we will help you get help until help arrives.
I have a question about the meeting that you had yesterday with the police commissioner. Your office issued a statement saying that despite the gun arrests and the clearance rates improving, that you're still not satisfied. What changes do you want to see made within BPD, and when can the community expect to see some
Thank you for the wonderful question. I think it's not about what changes we want to see in BPD. I think you should know and everyone should know it's about saving lives, because that's what matters. It's not about what's changing in BPD. It's how we all can work together to impact what's happening out on the streets. And again, I think you and I had this conversation yesterday, and I want to remind you again that it's much larger than BPD. When we have people being killed on our streets that were arrested with guns earlier this year, then we know it's a lot bigger than BPD. It's about, for me, what I can control, because I don't control the courts, I don't control parole and probation, but I do I'm sorry about that. I do control them. It's about making sure that they're deployed in the places where they should be, that we are focused on the people that we know of driving the violence in Baltimore, and working with our communities to make them safe. We have to continue to clear and solve cases the way they have in the clip that they have been, removing people who murder people off the streets. And I think it's important for you to report on how they've been doing a great job about that. But we clearly have to do more to impact the flow of gun violence in the city. And that's what I'm going to be pushing them to do every day.
We'll take one more question. Just one more question, please.
Without respect, though, on Monday after the holiday weekend, the statement that you put out said that you were looking to make immediate changes within
I don't think you heard my response. I said we're going to make sure that they're deployed in the right places and focus on the right people. That is how you change. That's the change to policing. If you're looking for a silver bullet, go find it and bring it back to me.
Thank you very much, everyone.